It may have taken me 2.5, 3 years. That means it may take you 6, 7. It may take you 1, 3. Man, the V10 for me coming soon, man. I need that. We just at the beginning still, trust. You're still at the bottom. You're still at the bottom of the learning curve. There's a lot to learn, especially once you go into the funding, once you go to getting your first funding account, trying to get your first payout. Like, there's a lot of different obstacles, and one of the things I try to tell people in the beginning, it's not gonna get easier, you're just gonna get stronger.
Tuesday is when we got the load of the week. So this is gonna be a day that we pay attention to because I want you guys to understand how the load of the week got created. And this is a good example of being able to tell the trend from what happened during London.
Morning, everybody. Welcome back to another video, another day in the life. Today it is Saturday. So I was originally gonna have our overall back testing session in the morning, but as you guys know, if you watched yesterday's vlog, went to my grandma's, slept for 3 hours, came home, then I slept for another 7, 8. So yeah, we're here right now, energized. It's Saturday, it's a new day. I got about 3-4 one-on-one calls at 3 o'clock, 3:34, 4:35, something like that. I got the one-on-one calls in. At 8 p.m., we're gonna do our back testing session because I woke up a little bit late and I didn't feel like rushing into it. I'm going to go to my grandma's again. I'm gonna go hang out with her. Today's her birthday. I was gonna go out to eat with them, but around that time is gonna be the time that I'm doing my one-on-one calls and they eat mad early, you know? So that's the vibes. But besides that, it's gonna be another good day, another adventurous day. It's gonna be another day spending time with family. There's gonna be a lot of education, a whole lot of stuff. So with that being said, if you want to get access to the one-on-one calls you're going to see, if you want to get access to work with me one-on-one, you can apply in the first link in the description. But with that being said, let's get this day going. I'm probably going to get a little workout on the balcony too, just because I'm going to be a little bit of a time crunch today, but no days off. Got to get that work in no matter what. All right, so update on the update. I got both of my dogs, which are on their period, which makes this a little bit more annoying to do, but you know, they got diapers and pads on, so it's a success. We're at CVS. My girlfriend's about to grab some stuff, and then we're gonna go to my grandma's house, and then we're gonna go chill over there, and then from there, we got one-on-ones at 3:30? 3:30 is, I think, the start of the first one-on-one call. Dogs are going crazy in the back. So I got 4 calls today, starting at 3:30. I got one at 4, 4:35. So it'll be back to back from 3:30 to 5, which is cool. And then I got another 4 tomorrow. But that's the plan. How you feel about it, Luna? She just wants to get out the car. But we're probably about like 10 minutes away from the house, so we're gonna be there soon. Just gonna enjoy the pool, enjoy all of that. Just spend some time with my grandma while she's closer. Instead of being an hour and a half away, she's like 30 minutes away now, so it works out. Got back from my grandma's, about to hop on one-on-one calls. Let's get straight to the value. Gotta hop on a call, student Bree. Let's get straight to work. Yeah, I would say if you have it like on the bottom, have it up a little bit, cause that shit sound muffled. I was like, maybe it's my headset or but we about to find out. But that shit sound crazy. You sound better now though. Yeah, it sounds better now. But now yeah, it's been a little bit. I've been seeing you active in the calls though, so even though I haven't been there, it's been there for the most part. But how's everything been? I would say that's good then. Considering if you haven't blown an account, yes, because it's more or less, the way I look at it, the longer you can stay in a challenge, the better you are at being able to manage risk, because the longer you're in a challenge, the longer you're able to essentially either win enough times to not lose, or you've been losing a lot and you've been managing risks to not lose the account. So regardless how you're still in the game, which is the most important thing, because you can show up again tomorrow and win the entire week. You know what I'm saying? So everything that already happened doesn't necessarily matter. It could have been a bad month, bad 2 months, but if you're still in the game, that's the most important thing, because a lot of people, winning is the easy part, but being able to manage risk, being able to stay in the game, being able to handle losses, that's going to be the main thing. So even if you just tweak a little things that allow you maybe your wins to be a little bit bigger, you'll make more money, you'll win a little bit more than you lose. But the main thing, which is risk management, that's very important. So even though you may not be where you want to be yet, is the steps. Like you said, you're further than where you were. You may not be where you want to be, but you're where you need to be. And so time is just volume. But when it comes to price action, when it comes to the trade that I'm looking for, when it comes to the setup, I'm looking for that within price, not necessarily time. Time is the time that I'm supposed to be there, so that basically when I see something in price All I got to do is just execute. So I don't got to be like, oh, what time is it? I'm not even going to be there unless it's my time to trade, essentially. So how crucial is time when it comes to entries? It's very crucial, because the main thing with time is if you're trading Asian session, you're likely not going to have the volume necessary. So even if you get the best, cleanest trade setup in the world, if you don't have the volume, it may not give you the trade. It doesn't mean it's guaranteed not going to give it to you, but it's just the likelihood of it giving to you is way less likely. Versus if you are trading at a time that has a lot of volume, 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then you also see your trade, the same trade that you could have seen during Asian, the same trade you can see during any session, but it's happening during that time, the chance of it now having volume to be able to play out is just significantly more likely. But even then, it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, 9:30 is the time that everything is going to happen. 9:30 could mean that at 9:15, at 9:20, price tapped the area already, and 9:30 just hits the volume and it just keeps going. It just goes where it got to go. But there's also situations where it didn't hit an area within price action in terms of a setup. 9:30 hits and then it goes to the area that we now want to watch for the trade. But it's all 9:30 is just volume though. 9:30 doesn't make or break anything besides the fact that we might move, we might go to the area that might move. But it's just volume. And you said, I missed this trade this morning, and I know trading comes with missing trades, but was it reasonable for me to miss the trade by 15 minutes because I didn't want to trade until market open, or do my reactions happen regardless, and time solely brings volume to help price? So I'll say yeah. So basically, the reactions are going to happen regardless, but time is just volume, because you could probably see multiple times where, shit, you might get the trade entry at 9:15, but 9:30 just goes right back to it, and then it goes in the direction anyway. So you could have got it at 9:15, you could have got it at 9:30, it might even come back at 10. But it's just a matter of, sometimes you never really know though. I'd rather wait until the volume comes in, because if I get in at 9:15, it might keep going, but 9:30 might just bring it right back down. All right, it don't look like we got too much battery on the other charger, but I also got to charge my phone. So there's a lot of things that need to be charged right now, but you know what? It is what it is. I'm gonna give you what I can. So we're about to hop on this second call with my boy Manny. So yeah, first call was a success. Bree, we're working on getting her first payout and everything, so it's coming soon. So you'll see it. Just watch.
You ask me something and I have to repeat it like what did you say? Like, so I can double check. And like my family always gets like mad because I always like, why do you do that all the time, you know? So like right there, I was just like, I was watching the videos, so I was just like, all right, you know, I was kind of getting it, but not too much. And I was like, damn, bro, like, and then
A lot of times, like especially, just not even just necessarily trading, just when you're learning something new in general, is repetition is going to be key, because especially with the videos, I'm very repetitive with the things that I say, but I kind of have to, because it's not like I'm changing things on a daily or weekly basis. I'm usually going over the same exact things, explaining the same exact things, and sometimes it takes saying the same exact thing over and over and over and over and over for it to finally click. And it may click the first time, may click the 17th, may click the 4th, and it's really, you never really know, because every situation is going to be different. Like you said, you're probably like this with other things also. As your family has probably said, you're probably a learner like this in other ways also. Compared to someone else, they may learn even slower. Someone else, they may learn faster, but everyone else is uniquely going to be different. That's why I hate when people ask, how long did it take you to become profitable? Just off the fact, just put this in perspective. Me and you are two totally, completely different people. How long it may take you to do something is not going to be the same time it takes me. How long it takes me is going to be the same it takes you. Why? Because of us. We are the different variable. We're trying to do the same thing, but as a result to what we've been through in our life, how we grew up, whatever habits we've built, we're not the same type of person, so we're either capable or not capable of certain things that one of us may be. So that's why I hate the question, how long did it take you to get profitable? It may have taken me 2.5, 3 years. That means it may take you 6, 7. It may take you 1, 3. I mean, there's really no, like, how long it took me doesn't really matter, essentially. You know what I mean? Because I can give you everything you need, but it's like the same thing people always say, the little quote, you could bring a horse to water, you can't make him drink it. Same thing, I can give you the content, but that doesn't mean you understand it. You still gotta be able to now take it, use it on trading. You watch it a few times, go into the charts, look for it yourself. And then once you do that, then you really train yourself. Then you got the confidence to know what you're looking for. And then that's something I can't give you. That's something I can't take away from you either. It's just the beginning still, trust. You're still at the bottom. You're still at the bottom of the learning curve. There's a lot to learn, especially once you go into the funding, once you go to getting your first funded account, trying to get your first payout. Like, there's a lot of different obstacles. And one of the things I try to tell people in the beginning, it's not gonna get easier, you're just gonna get stronger. I would say either you can stay up later or just go to sleep earlier, whichever one, but I would say the prime London session will really be around that. 1 to 3, 2 to, I would say like 2 to 4. 2 to 4 around that time is probably gonna be the most prime time. 3 a.m. is like the London Open, so there's a lot of volume around that 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock is like the equivalent to 9 o'clock type of vibe. But for the most part, it's still another session with volume. I would just definitely recommend back testing it specifically. If you haven't already, watched a lot of the back testing sessions, because I go over a lot of London session stuff in there also, just kind of talking about what likely happens during London. Like in my opinion, when it comes to the two setups of false breaks and the fair value gap fills, London session has a lot of false break type of moves off the Asian session high and low and off the previous highs and lows. But that's just something that you'll be able to back test for yourself. But that's just a little characteristic that happens because London session is going to have different characteristics compared to, say, New York. All right, it's time for us to go get some food. Look at this Range Rover. That John nice. There was a white Lambo over here earlier. I hear a car. Lambo? I hear a car that sounds like a V8 or a V10 somewhere. I can hear you over there. Oh, our cars are here, but I'm being distracted. I hear some. I knew I seen it. Lambo's over there. Bitch ass car. Man, you can see Lambo right over here. I ain't gonna try to record him too crazy, but the Lambo is indeed right up there. All right, we got our food and everything parked next to Lambo, so I can show you guys. This bag is not stable whatsoever. But yeah, this looks like another Huracan. I don't know if it's an Evo or not. Huracan convertible. Not bad. Yeah, it don't look like an Evo. Man, a V10 for me coming soon, man. I need that. I'm gonna need that. All right, team, it's about that time of the night. Time to enter the lair. I'm usually not in the lair at nighttime, but since we're doing the session at nighttime, we're gonna be in the lair at nighttime. I'm gonna make this a little bit orangey. Turn this fan off. We about to get straight into the work. So yeah, with that being said, I'm about to bring you guys into the back testing session. This light is extremely bright, but it is okay because the light needs to be bright for them to be able to see me. But yeah, without all the yapping, if you want to be able to get access to the call that we're about to have, this is about to be maybe an hour call. I'm probably give you 5-10 minutes. But if you want access to the whole call, apply to work with me one-on-one. First link in the description.
So with that being said, we're gonna move on to the next one, which is gonna be Tuesday. Tuesday is when we got the low of the week. So this is going to be a day that we pay attention to because I want you guys to understand how the low of the week got created. There's nothing fancy behind it, but just pay attention to what the low of the week is because the same thing that happens once will happen again. So we're going to do the same thing we always do. If we're going to mark up Tuesday, we're going to do the previous highs and lows from Monday. First thing that you guys probably see is previous highs didn't get ran. Previous low did get ran. What time did previous low get ran? At 3 in the morning. Interesting. Okay. So we ran the previous low at 3 a.m. At 3 a.m. Oh, and it's also the Asian session low. So Asian session low slash previous low. We ran both of those lows at this time. And if we also take it a step further, if you really want to say this was a gap, I guess you could say this low tapped into the gap right there. But in my opinion, I'm just going to say this was a false break move because one of the things that I always tell you guys, one of the characteristics of London session are those false break moves. And the one thing that I like about London session having the false break moves is the fact that I don't trade London session. And since I don't trade London session, I don't got to be awake to try to catch this. By the time I'm awake, it either happened or it didn't. So when it does happen, I at least have something to be able to trust, right? So that's the way I look at it. So in this case, I didn't have to be awake for all this. By the time I would have woke up at 9 in the morning, price already ran its low. Price ran the low. And overall, if you look at it from the bigger perspective, let's go to the low of last week. The last week's low to the highest point because we're in the middle of a retracement. Let's get the 50% of this range. And let's see where that is. Look at that. So the 50% is also there. So you got the 50% of the fib. And these are all confirmations that aren't even necessarily for the trade that I'm taking. This is just for the trade that happened during London. But all this stuff happening down here is the reason why I would have been looking for longs going into 9 o'clock. Because by the time I'm awake, we traded into the overall fib. We had a retracement from the big ass move from Friday. and we ran the low during London, creating the low of the day. So based off of all that happened, I would have been looking for longs. So now let's go into our time that we're going to be trading, which is at what time? 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock over here. It's a little bit choppy in here, but overall, we're looking for longs. So if there's no false break that happened, what's the next thing that we're going to look for? Look for the gap, because the same thing that I always tell you guys, we'll have consolidation, we'll run an old higher low, have a push, leave a gap, and then boom. In this case, we had the low down here, which was this low that ran the Asian session low, ran the previous low. I keep on touching that. We had a push up, and a retracement. The retracement into what? If we were trading at 9, which was right here, there was a gap right to the left, just like this. Traded into it multiple times. This was a very choppy day. But the gap from 7 a.m. got traded into at 9, 10, and 11 before it eventually pushed. But that's when we retraced just like this. And this is the same schematic I show you guys all the time. It's literally the same shit. The low happened in London, had a push. The overall trend was overall bullish. We had a retracement, but we're trusting the fact that since we made the low of the day during London, we're going to trust it. A lot of times, remember why when I explain the overall daily bias, a lot of the time I want to trust the previous day. I want to trust that the previous day's trend was bullish, so today's going to be bullish. But a lot of the times I'm going to have to trust what we're doing today overall, because we may have been bearish the day before, but guess what? The day before that we were bullish, and as of right now from London we're also bullish. So even though the day before was bearish, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm only going to look for longs, because it's very situational. Most times that's going to be the case, but not every single time. So this retracement into this 1 hour gap, and also if we try to take a step further, let's see if we could pull a fib from the highest point before we got this retracement, so from the London low to the New York high, and let's see if we can get a continuation level. The continuation is, yes, right in there. So the confirmations for our trade that we actually could have caught, which would have been longs from this 1 hour gap, not shorts, longs from this 1 hour gap, with about, I say, 50-point stop loss. Would that have worked? 50 points would have worked. Looking for about a 1 to 2, looking for Asian session high. That would have been a decent trade, and the confirmations for it would have been 9 in the morning, not equal sign, what the hell? How do I? 9 in the morning, we had the fib, long, 38 point, 20% retracement, along with the fact that we had, this is going off the screen, the 1 hour gap at 9 in the morning. Was there a big figure level? Not really. But these would have been the confirmations for this trade right here. And this is a good example of being able to tell the trend from what happened during London, because the previous day was bullish, but London session ran the Asian session and previous days low at 3 in the morning. We've been bullish ever since. And like I said, it's easy to be able to tell these types of trades during our time because we don't got to trade London. By the time we wake up, all this already happened. All we would have had to do was trust the trend and trust the 1 hour gap that was getting traded into at 9 a.m. to target the Asian session high. And that would have been a nice 1 to 2. Would have been a little bit more. Overall for the day went to a 1 to 4, but 1 to 2. And I'm telling you the overall trend because there's a lot of times people be like, oh, I want a 1 to 10. On average, for the way I trade, the max I would have been able to catch on this day, if I would have held it to the full high of the day, highest point would have only been a 1 to 4. And that would have been just, how do I know it's only going to go to 1 to 4? You don't know. But this is a nice little 1 to 2. Smooth. These were the 2 days that I were able to catch pretty nice trades on Monday and Tuesday. After that, shit got a little choppy.
Yep, and just like that, we are done with the call, done with everything. I'm uploading it for everybody so they can be able to get it. And yeah, with that being said, we're about to just continue going. So if you enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed it, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to work with me one-on-one, you already know first link. The second link is the free trading. So if you want some free game on the 3 steps to becoming a profitable, consistent trader, check the second link out. But yeah, I'm gonna get this edited. I kind of want to go get a milkshake, so I'm gonna try to get this done, editing within 30 minutes so I can go to spark my horse. Stay safe, stay busy, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.